This then is a celebration, but the question is, what is the task ahead? The new patriotic party has a big task ahead of them. Ghanaians are expecting a lot from them, and the work has just begun. But we all hope and pray that things will go as have been promised. Samuel Kwesi Fletcher reporting for RAZO.
He said, Emra de Beshao, also to me say, Oma on so in Saka. The Ridge na Abia, na Emrenaso, now Casil Bisa, not Yama Quine. Then so Omuba radio, no so dia, Miss Ramo, 2 hours there, a boom, who question Bia, between Bisa. Nanso, Musra, the 1 year free, Kofa Horman, son of the Abisi Hono, Nanina, a Kimbreno. And Tisabea, Udia, Tro. O question ni kuta e drew her also my kidma straight when ready no what point ni pa crowd person you question na no mp enso e question na no na aff come me da mo say sabri medical can
well said. But you have had to travel all the way from Ghana to this place, and I know you have a lot of work on your shoulders back home. Even though the campaign is over, I'm sure you are preparing for 2004. But why are you here?
Well, it is said, as you rightly said, that the campaign for the next election begins a day after the previous election. So we certainly are positioning ourselves, strengthening party structures, because we had to fight more or less as guerrillas in order to overthrow the NDC. It certainly wasn't easy, with very limited logistical support and fear in the system, and that's one maybe what I've said earlier, that one of the achievements is that people feel that they are really free. People know that when you talk about rule of law, we are going to respect it. Individually, they know that nobody is going to suffer because of his political views. One of the main things that have been saying clearly out. But then I'm here because I had to be in London. I had to also attend some seminar here. The Netherlands government is having put in place Institute of Multi-Party Democracy, where they're going to try to offer support to political parties, especially maybe in Africa and other developing countries. Is something similar or close to what exists in Great Britain, where they have Westminster Foundation for Democracy, where all political parties, that's the Labour, Conservative and Liberal Democrats, do contribute in terms of personnel to that and do manage the whole fund that comes out of it and how the programs they're going to use to help other emerging democracies. And so I'll be attending that seminar on Tuesday, on Wednesday, I think 24th and 25th. Go back to London for another program, and I'll go back to Ghana.
Thank you very much. But for the very last time, what message, because Ghanaians, both home and abroad, are looking up to the NPP government to do many things, which I may not be able to mention. But what message, and again, if there's any advice, do you have for especially Ghanaians living here in Holland?
Well, I agree. I think the people are right to expect. I mean, and they look at the expectations are very high, and they have every right to expect so. But we have given our pledge, and we said that our party, we've always boasted that we have the right caliber of people, knowledgeable to be able to turn the economy around and at least pursue policies and programs that will go to upgrade the quality of life of the average person. And we are committed to that. We cannot also ignore the past, what we came to meet. And as I was saying earlier, we will have to at times solidify even the existing structures before one can really build a superstructure on it. But we are very clear, we are very conscious of our pledge, we are very conscious of our determination to make sure we succeed. Not succeeding by just staying in power, but succeeding by making sure that Ghanaians have some progress in their lives. So we are very conscious of that. We promise Ghanaians that we should be given the briefing space. We are very conscious of it. We are determined. We are in power just to make, as a service to our nation. And by the end of our 4 years term, at least the first 4 years, they will have known the difference. And we have laid the grounds for Ghana to really take off. And so we are very conscious of that. And also to thank Ghanaians outside who supported us. And also to assure them that in our government, you need not be a card-bearing member of the NPP in order to get a contract or get any favors. We are going to have a really true and transparent government, and we mean it. We're also going to make sure that unnecessary bureaucracy, unnecessary red tapeism are removed, so that all those who want to invest in Ghana will not face unnecessary frustrations and go back. And so Ghanaians are being encouraged to come back home and a neighboring environment, and we mean a neighboring environment, created because the president has appointed a minister of state for private enterprise. And with his promise of zero tolerance for corruption, all other things that go to frustrate people who want to invest in Ghana are being removed. Therefore, they should come, they should form partnership with other foreign people and come to Ghana. The president has declared Ghana now as a golden age for business. And I suppose that's what many people outside expect. And also, we respect individual rights. We respect ownership of property. And anybody who acquires genuinely his property will also feel very safe under our rule.
Thank you very much. There are many things we would actually have liked to talk about, but time would not allow us. Congratulations, Mr. Aboche, and for the very good job that you have done. We wish you all the best. And we hope you win in the next 4 years again. So. Okay. Thank you very much.
MPP, members are a team. Yet me, Papa, say, Omijina, no be from my Omidina.
And welcome. We find ourselves at the Augustinus College in Amsterdam Zuid Oost, where the New Patriotic Party, NPP of Ghana, which happens to be the ruling party of Ghana, is having a victory celebration as a result of the 2000 general elections held in Ghana, which was won by the NPP led by Mr. J.A. Kufuor, and they also won the majority in parliament. My name is Kwesi Fletcher, and representing RAZO here. We will be talking to some of the key members, for example, the General Secretary of the party, Mr. Danboche. And we will also be talking to one of the members of parliament from Ghana, specifically the member of parliament for Suhum. His name is Mr. Ransford Ajapong, and a few others. Just stay tuned. I have with me here the New Patriotic Party, NPP member of parliament for Suhum, Mr. Ransford Ajapong. And he is with me to throw more light on some of the things that have been happening so far in the very new NPP government. Honorable, you are welcome.
Thank you.
100 days of the New Patriotic Party in power. What are your impressions?
So far, so good. At least it's not been easy, but we've done our best. And naturally, there's going to be people who really oppose and talk about it. But majority of the people are happy with the decisions and the policies and the appointments that have been made so far.
Well, it's quite obvious that Ghanaians expected a lot from the New Patriotic Party government, more especially during the electioneering campaign. And you know, in politics, we say a lot of things, and more of them actually believed that the NPP was a kind of savior for Ghana. Do you think that the NPP can live up to expectation, what Ghanaians are expecting?
Really, we can really do it. There is a proverb in one of the languages in Ghana that says, before a blind man says he's going to throw a stone at you, he has 1 foot on the stone. So we knew the problems of the nation before coming. So we were not promising Ghanaians the moon, but we told them we would do it. And when we came to power, we've told them the truth about the state of economy, the mess that we found, everything. We've told them the truth so that there will be no inhibitions. Naturally, if it were any place, the first 100 days will have been honeymoon for any party. But for us, it has been business. And that is why I, a newly elected MP, somebody who has been in parliament for just 3 months, have traveled all the way to this place to try to explain policies and try to win investors back to Ghana. And when they are able to come, and when we are able to create the jobs, what are we doing? We start answering the demands of the people, because the basic thing is jobs, job creation. And where does it start from? It starts from getting people something to do. And that's the more reason why we're here. We've been talking to a lot of investors. It's not only the foreign investors that we're targeting. We also talking to our citizens. There are Ghanaians here who have something, but the perception of Ghana back home is different. And that is the misconception is what we are here to clear.
It's very, very interesting to note that at least Ghana stands in a position to be leading in terms of democracy in the sub-region of West Africa. And if I'm also right, of course I stand for correction, but also in Africa, and that is applaudable. But talk about the HIPC, the Highly Indebted Poor Country Initiative. Ghana joined recently, and there has been some public outcry. Some of them have expressed some misgivings about that. But what are the advantages? Why should Ghana join that initiative?
The answer is very simple. HIPC is Highly Indebted Poor Country. And the threshold for any country to join HIPC is $690. And that of Ghana is $390. So is it our government that has put Ghana into HIPC? Ghana has been HIPC since we took over. Ghana has been HIPC since we took over.
But are we obliged to join?
Yeah, you look at the advantages and the disadvantages. Let's take this analogy. You are rich, you have cocoa farms, you have buildings, you have everything. But you have mortgaged all those things and you've taken the money and spent the money already. And now you are saddled with a problem. Let's say you lose a member of a family, you lose your mother. You need money to bury this mother of yours. You have access, but there's no money in your pocket. So what prevents you from going to borrow to bury your mother till the time you redeem your property? By going HIPC doesn't mean we're going to be in HIPC forever. We can come out when we think the economy has improved. And all that HIPC means is monies due the creditors, which we should have paid. They are asking us to use that money for poverty reduction. And poverty reduction is equal to wealth generation. Because when you create wealth, then you reduce poverty. But they are telling us that we should use the money for poverty reduction. And we say, thank you, but we're going to use it for wealth creation. Because money is due. For example, if we are supposed to pay money to, let's say, Great Britain, and it is due, they are telling us whatever money is due. I don't have the figures now, but what all that they are saying is whatever money is due, use that money for poverty reduction. And we say, thank you. We're going to use that money for job creation. And it's as simple as that. If you don't opt for HIPC, you are going to pay that money. And where is the money going to come from? That is it. Are you going to borrow money and pay a debt?
So if I understand you, the point is that HIPC is going to help us to generate funds to be able to pay the debt.
Yeah, that is funds that we are supposed to use to pay debt.
Pay the debt.
We are being asked to use that funds to reduce poverty.
Exactly.
And it means
yeah,
job creation.
Yeah, but let me ask you our very last question.
The last one.
Yes, the very last one. it is a well-known fact now that Ghanaians living outside, and for that matter, Ghanaians living in Holland and here in Amsterdam Southeast, contribute a lot to the economy, probably indirectly. We know that they yearly Ghanaians send as much as 300 or so, 50 so much dollars, to Ghana, and that is what we know now officially. But unofficially, I believe that they sent a lot more. What are the policies of this government towards Ghanaians living outside Ghana? Some of them are engaged in import and export business and all those things. What is the government doing to help them so that people can come and especially invest in the private sector back home?
Okay. The government has laid down a lot of very, very good things. Now, one main area our government is encouraging is export. That is for people to come home, create job, and export. Now, America has passed this AGOA treaty. There are a list of items that could be sent from Ghana to the US without tax. Just giving an example, one example is textiles. This African print that we do, we have very good people who do them. I will advise any Ghanaian, for that matter, to bring the little money he has, change them, get this done, find a market in the US and go and sell it. Then you get the hard currency, then you recycle it. You know what you do? When you do this, you create job in the system. So our brothers and sisters back home will be having something to do. You export, you get foreign cash. You help offset the balance of payment of our debt with the US.
Exactly. And in effect, it will be helping to build the
economy.
Exactly.
And it will help in the investor too. Because the issue of you having the cedis and changing the money back into whatever currency doesn't come in. Yeah. You see? And it is kind of very, very good. It's things that you really need to take advantage. All that you need to do is get in contact with the Ministry of Trade, find out about AGOA. You'll be told the things that are needed. And now with the advent of the cyberspace, that is the internet, you can be able to surf and know the items of things that are needed over there for you to invest in and have your money.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ransford Ajapong, and we wish you all the best in your endeavors as a member of Parliament. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I want to assure anybody here, even if you are not a committed member of the party, or even if you belong to any other party apart from the MPP, but the president's pledge to run the country, or what he calls all-inclusive government, it means that all of us won the victory for ourselves last year. And indeed, it is a victory for the whole of Ghana. There was no way we could have continued under the mess of the NDC as we have experienced for the last 20 years. There was no way. And we kept on saying during our campaign that even if at times God sends his people out of disobedience as a punishment into the rule of Nebuchadnezzar, at times he listens to the cry of the people and redeems them.
I have with me here Mr. Mark van der Horst, and he's the Vice Chairperson of the Southeast District Council, and he also happens to be the wethouder for Southeast, if I'm right. And we know of a certain agreement between the VVD of Holland and the New Patriotic Party, the party which happens to be in power now of Ghana. And why that agreement?
Well, the agreement is that we cooperate for mutual benefits, and that was last year the elections in Ghana, supporting the elections in Ghana, and developing the NPP and developing democracy in Ghana, and the next year have more political participation of Ghanaian here in the VVD in Holland in the Dutch politics.
So it means that if you talk about mutual benefits, what I understand is that you gain something from the NPP, and then the NPP gains something from you, or that Holland gains something from that agreement, and Ghana also gains something from that agreement. Specifically, can you name some of the benefits that you draw from this agreement?
Well, first I want to mention that we are sister parties, liberal sister party. So it's of course logic that we help each other as sister parties. What we do is support democracy in Ghana, and that is the next week there will be a congress with all political parties in Africa can get the support of the Dutch government, and the VVD is supporting the NPP in developing the party. On the other hand, we would like to have more contacts with Ghanaian people within the VVD to build up our multicultural society here in Amsterdam Southeast and in Amsterdam. So it's very important for the VVD to get in touch with Ghanaian voters and Ghanaian high potential, for instance, to be stand up as a candidate.
How do you see the New Patriotic Party in power for 100 years? How can you assess them?
Well, we can build up their party by the programs which will be discussed next week. For instance, how to organize your party, how to develop your party members.
No, what I mean is that how do you see the performance of the NPP after 100 days in office?
Aha. Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Well, as I see it from the internet, of course, the news on the internet, it's doing very well. I think Mr. Kufuor has done some total other policy, 180 degrees the other way, and that's good. For instance, not flying with a private jet. I think it's very good to give that signal to your people that the spending of the money will go to the people and not to the government officials.
I want to get something clear, that it's not just lip service, but if you talk about Ghanaian involvement in the multicultural politics of Holland, what do you actually mean? And again, how do you see the future of Ghanaians and again all foreigners in multicultural active politics?
Well, they have to emancipate. All Ghanaian people here who want to stay must be given the opportunity to do the full participation, of course if they want to. And what we see now is that within the Dutch political parties not a lot of Ghanaian people are active. And I think it's very pity because you have to be in society and also in politics to be a part of society. For instance, of course, only the people who want to do that, and a lot of people are not interested, but a few they are.
That is what Edmund Beck said, that the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing, and that people who refuse to be in government live under the government of Westmen, if I'm right. Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Mark van der Horst, and we wish you all the best in your endeavors. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
We're still at the Augustinus College where the New Patriotic Party is holding a victory celebration, and we are privileged to have with us here the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party branch in Amsterdam, and his name is Mr. Adakwa Yadom. Welcome, sir.
Welcome.
You are here in Holland, and you have quite a life here in Holland. Why are you thinking about politics back home?
Yeah, I think I have to be very concerned and cautious also at the same time, in the sense that I have to think about politics in Ghana. Basically, my philosophy of thinking about politics in Ghana is that I have the belief and the perception that it will come to a day that I will have to go back to Ghana, whether I'm old or at my youthful stage. So if Ghana is not a suitable place for me to live at the end of my long toil here, then it means that my life will virtually become hopeless and useless. So we are, and again also, I think I've got a lot of family members also in Ghana. So their concern over there is also my concern over here, because at the end of the day, if they are not satisfied, I cannot be satisfied and place myself with the life here. So I have to also participate in the political activities of the country where I think I come from.
Well said and thoughtful of you. But before I ask you my next question, just briefly, you're talking about politics in Ghana. How about politics in Holland?
Well, if you want to thrive well in every living society, then you have to also try to emancipate yourself. You have to give yourself a lot of education, and that is what exactly the MPP and myself particularly are trying to do right now. It is in view of this that we are trying to forge alliance with the VVD party, that we can share with them their experiences, so that at the end of the day, our stay here can also benefit us here.
The New Patriotic Party is what you represent. How is it like to have your party in government?
It's very, very sweet, because I know that at the end of the day, my voice will be heard. If there is something going wrong, I've got every right also to criticize my government and to offer constructive suggestions and ideas. Also, that at the end of the day, I believe my country can grow from prosperity to prosperity.
You're talking about constructive criticisms. Can you, at this moment, after your government, 100 days of your party in power, can you be honest and just mention one criticism, if you can find one?
Well, naturally I can find one, because the only one that I think I can talk of is that people are accusing the government for failing to nominate somebody from the upper west region of Ghana into his cabinet. However, we don't blame the government for doing that, because you can't pick somebody from area where you don't have a constituency.
What I mean is that, do you offer a criticism against your government? Not what somebody thinks, but what you think, or probably what your group as a party thinks.
Well, sometimes there are certain things that you may try to criticize, particularly where you are not there yourself. But the question is, you have to be at the battlefield before you can know what actually is happening there. So I think that to stay here and to criticize at this time is premature.
Even though you are here and you are doing politics, so why you can't separate the two anyway. Thank you very much, Mr. Adakwa Yadom, for talking to us, and we wish you all the best for this victory celebration.
Okay, also thank you very much for giving me this opportunity also.
Okay. I'm also privileged to have with me here the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, and who has come all the way from Ghana. His name is Mr. Dan Boche, and we are privileged to have him to throw more light on some of the issues that we have always been talking about. Mr. Boche, you're welcome. The New Patriotic Party and the government in power, the difference?
What is why don't you put it this way? It's an MPP government. But it's important that we try to, there's a thin line, and we want to say that we recognize that thin line. But it is a party campaigns on a manifesto. And that's why we sell to the voters that this is what we're going to do, this is our manifesto, put it up, publish it, and people know that this is what the people are going to use as a way of improving upon our lives in all spheres. So we are going to pursue an MPP manifesto. And so yes, it's an MPP government, but once we have the executive, we want to believe that the president of our Ghana, His Excellency Mr. Kufuor, is the president for the whole nation. So there's a limit to which he should allow himself unnecessarily to be controlled by the party. And the party also is determined not to be overbearing. But the fact remains that it's an MPP government committed to pursuing MPP manifesto to achieve the whole goal of improving upon the living conditions of our citizens.
So that if I understand you, the advantages that the NPP government would enjoy and the disadvantages that the NPP government will be facing are in a way also felt by the party.
Sure. You realize that I'm the General Secretary of the NPP. During our campaign, we have had to talk about Apollo 568, which is what happened during Prime Minister Buzia's time in our predecessor party, the Progress Party. I wasn't there. I'm sure I was about some. Exactly. But we have had to explain what happened. We had to talk about the Alliance Compliance Order, even when it is not, strictly speaking, our party. It was our predecessor party, Progress Party. So the fact is, what we do today, we'll have to answer. We'll have to explain why it happened in 30 years' time, and it will be called MPP government. So yes, it's true. If we pursue very good policies as a government, and we succeed, the credit comes to NPP.
Looking at the government...
And the converse is also true.
That's all right. Looking at the government now, they have been in office for a little over 100 days. And as a party secretary, how do you assess the performance of the NPP? And be very honest with me.
Yeah, very sure. We want to believe that in 100 days, a lot of people are looking for concrete results. What people look for in 100 days is whether the government has really settled in, whether they have positioned themselves in such a way that can say, given the chance that people are going to perform, are going to make sure that they fulfill their pledges to the people. And that said that yes, the president has really taken control. His appointed ministers and all of them have gone through parliamentary vetting, and all of them went through. Means that he actually chose the right caliber of people. He's taking major decisions for the security of the state. There were those who really wondered that after 20 years of rule of a dictator like Rawlings, can you actually take over? And so to me, the major achievement is the fact that he's been able to ease himself into power and the stability in the nation. There were some initial attempts of armed robbery. You can even see how decisively this has been brought under control. And the fact that he's pursuing governance in a way that he's tolerable, he's showing clear discipline, his zero tolerance of corruption. At least there was an example of how he swiftly dismissed the Minister of Sports and all that. And I can assure you that this is a determined president, and in the first 100 days he's done very well.
Taken from Psalm 5, well said.